This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Good morning. Today is the last day of the 85th legislature's regular session, while lawmakers could be teetering on a special session.
And Uber and Lyft returning to Austin today, and while some are thrilled, others not so much. So what's happening today at the Capitol as the city gears up for their return?
President Trump on the record about the new Russia investigation revelations into his son-in-law and advisor Jared Kushner. I'm ABC's Kenneth Moden with the latest coming up from Washington.
All right, an update here on the story we've been following for you all morning long. Northbound Mopac near the Wells Branch exit is back open. Police closed it down after a man was hit by a car before 1:30 this morning. Officials say they believe the man's car broke down and then he was hit by another vehicle while he was working on his car. Police say his injuries could be critical, but they are still waiting to hear about his exact condition. You're looking at video here. Also, police say the driver of the other car has not been arrested. So let's check in with Anavid Reyes for a look at the traffic. And again, northbound Mopac, it's back open in that area, which is good news.
Absolutely right. It's now reopened. Earlier, you were asked to just get off Wells Branch Parkway and then travel the feeder up to North Austin, but that has now since cleared. Let's go ahead and zoom into this crash. This is South Austin. This is on William Cannon Drive, traveling westbound. This is near Brody Lane, so just watch out for that if you're traveling in South Austin. Make sure that you watch out for these closures. This is going to take into effect until 3 p.m. So by 3 p.m., the lanes will be wide open. Cesar Chavez, 2nd Street, 1st Street, those will be the lanes and roads affected today due to this Lifetime Triathlon. This is a live look at I-35 at East MLK Boulevard. You can see the roads are open and clear. Let's go ahead and look at weather with Nathan Gogo.
Thanks, Anavid. Yeah, so some wet roads out there could be expected as we head towards rush hour and even the afternoon rush. The good news is, of course, Memorial Day, not as much traffic getting out on the roadways, so that's certainly good news. Temperatures right now in the low 70s, so it's not as in upper 60s, actually not as mild as it's been the last couple mornings. A cold front that came through last night has stalled out to our south, so that's going to increase our rain chances as we head into the morning and afternoon. Radar is quiet. We have socked in with cloud cover. A couple little showers starting to sneak into parts of Hays County and southern Hays County towards San Marcos. So besides that, we're dry as of now, but rain chances going to increase as we head towards the late morning. I think the best chance of rain today will be mid to late afternoon, and some of the rain could come heavy at times, but no severe weather expected today. Temperatures upper 60s, lower 70s. The real nice thing, of course, about the rain, the clouds is, look at this, 80 degrees for high temperature. That's about 10 degrees below normal for this time of year. The calendar tells us we're supposed to be right around 90, so that is one nice thing about the rain. Several chances of rain in the forecast. We could see anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rainfall over the coming days. We'll talk more about that coming up in the full forecast in a few minutes. Ladies.
All right, thanks so much. Nathan, 6:02 is your time. New overnight. One man is in police custody this morning after a SWAT situation in northeast Austin. It began around 9:30 p.m. at the Veranda Apartments on North FM 620 near Lake Travis. Police say they received a call about a man threatening family members with a knife inside their home. When officers arrived, they were able to get the family members out safely, but officers say the man barricaded himself inside the apartment complex, so SWAT was called. After about 3 hours, the man eventually surrendered. No injuries were reported. Police are still determining if and what charges will be filed.
It is the Texas Senate who is playing games with the health and safety of the people of Texas.
Well, with just hours left in the Texas legislative session, state lawmakers still butting heads over big issues like health care, property taxes, and bathrooms. And this morning, the lieutenant governor says he'll call a special session if lawmakers can't get these things done. However, there's no word out of Governor Abbott's office over whether he's planning to call for a special session. That's a period that could last up to 30 days with the governor setting the agenda. All of this comes after members of both the House and Senate got heated yesterday. We watched as they accused each other of inaction on Senate Bill 1929. That bill would keep state agencies, including the Texas Medical Board, that were set to expire, in existence.
I just want to ask the lieutenant one thing. Do you want to continue to jeopardize my constituents, even though they are among the little dogs in this state? Do you want to jeopardize the senior citizens and the children of this state because there might be some ideology or differences in philosophy that you may have over this bill?
But they waited to do their entire session of work in the last 20-some days of session. And when that happens, things like this happen.
A bill overhauling Child Protective Services is headed to the governor, as is one that targets sexual assault on college campuses and reform for voter ID.
Happening today, starting today, Uber and Lyft drivers will hit the streets in Austin. The ride-sharing companies are making their big return after lawmakers passed a bill overriding local regulations. Daybreak's Jay Wallace joins us now live in the newsroom to explain all of this. Good morning.
Well, good morning. To give you some perspective on this situation and when it actually started, it was May of last year when Uber and Lyft left because of Proposition 1 vote, which upheld the city's requirement for drivers in Austin to undergo fingerprint background checks, among other conditions. Now, while Uber has issued an apology to the city of Austin upon the return to the city, there have been varied responses from the people in Austin as to how they will or will not accept the companies coming back. While Ride Austin, a local ride-sharing service, says it might have to shut down because of the move, there is one Austin man who drives for both Ride Austin and Fasten. He wonders how many people will stick with what they are using as of right now.
I think there'll be some loyalty to the current crops of TNCs where they'll stay with who they're with.
Battle comes 3 years after Lyft had a similar battle in Houston, as the company hasn't been providing services there since 2014. And with this signing, Lyft would also return to Houston as well. Now, Governor Abbott, he's expected to sign this bill at 10:30 this morning, which would be the last move needed to bring these two ride-sharing companies back to Austin. We will follow this story and keep you updated with the latest. Live in the newsroom, Jay Wallace, KVUE News.
All right, Jay, thank you for staying on that. And President Trump back home after his first foreign trip as president. But as he gears up for a Memorial Day remembrance, this investigation into Russia is intensifying. And his son-in-law is in the spotlight this morning. As Kenneth Moton reports, the president not holding back on his opinion, taking to Twitter to express his frustration.
Trump White House overhaul on the heels of his first foreign trip as president.
I think we hit a home run.
President Trump back home considering a staff shakeup in the wake of the Russia investigation hitting close to the Oval Office and his family. The private attorney, one of many Trump hired to handle the Russia investigation, seen talking with Ivanka Trump at the White House. Her husband, presidential advisor Jared Kushner, under scrutiny, but not the target of the FBI investigation. Sources say Kushner tried to set up a secret back channel with the Russian ambassador to the U.S., even after intelligence agencies found Russia tried to meddle in the election.
There ought to be a review of his security clearance to find out whether he was truthful, whether he was candid. If not, then there's no way he can maintain that kind of a clearance.
A frustrated president tweeted Sunday, calling leaks coming out of the White House fabricated lies made up by the fake news media. Trump also spoke with the New York Times, reportedly saying, quote, "Jared is doing a great job for the country. I have total confidence in him."
Look, I think Jared has said that he's more than willing to answer any and all questions.
Trump's focus, his overseas trip, calling it a great success for America. But fresh from the G7 summit, German Chancellor Angela Merkel expressed doubts about the U.S. and the U.K. Telling her country the times when we could completely count on others are over. The chancellor's remarks came after President Trump criticized Germany's trade policies at the G7. This week, expected to be a crucial one for the White House as the president works to control the West Wing crisis over Russia. Kenneth Moton, ABC News, Washington.
Well, a lot of you will be out today for this Memorial Day remembrance, but police want you to be very careful. Officers across Central Texas, including Austin and San Marcos, are working to keep drunk drivers off of the roads. It's part of the department's No Refusal initiative. During no refusal periods, officers get a warrant to draw a blood sample from any suspected drunk driver who refuses a breath test. No Refusal runs through June 12th from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. And we here at KVUE want to remind you to drive alive, Austin. Please don't drink and drive.
Music fans around the country are remembering Greg Allman this morning. He died after a battle with liver cancer at the age of 69. A founding member of the Allman Brothers Band, he inspired the Southern rock movement. Earlier this year, Allman canceled his tour dates for the summer because of his health problems. Allman's manager said that he died in his home in Savannah, Georgia, surrounded by family and friends. Funeral plans have not yet been announced. Most British Airways flights are now running again, but many angry passengers still facing delays. A global computer failure grounded hundreds of flights over the weekend. All of the airline's flights were canceled from Heathrow and Gatwick. Now, the IT system is back up and running as of this morning.
Wimberley strong. This Memorial Day is a somber one for Central Texas. It marks 2 years since devastating flooding killed 11 people and destroyed dozens of homes south of Austin. Today, the community will make an effort to shop local as a way to show the city's resilience and recovery from those devastating storms. And we are going to have some rain, but I noticed that you mentioned that temperatures were going to be a little cooler. That's a good thing, something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's really one nice thing about the clouds and rain. Temperatures going to be about 10 degrees cooler today than normal, than what the calendar typically says we're supposed to be this time of year. Typically, we're right around 90 degrees. We'll be right around 80 degrees. In fact, some places stuck in the upper 70s for today. And as we head home from work, or if you are going to work on this Memorial Day, scattered showers will be possible for the afternoon rush, and for the morning rush, a shower will be possible. So prepare for some of those roads to be damp or wet and some rain to be falling. So keep it slow on the roadways. Mold medium, air quality good, UV index low, as you can expect with some of the clouds and rain. We're not going to be seeing as much sunshine for not only today, but for the rest of this week. Hardly any sunshine as we have several chances of rain in the forecast. We'll talk about all those coming up in just a couple minutes, guys.
All right, thanks. Or ladies.
Ladies.
Just kidding. 6:11 is your time, and of course we're going to be spending some time this morning talking about those selfless men and women who died fighting for our freedom.
Yeah, and in the Vietnam War alone, more than 50,000 Americans died in combat. But on the other side, countless of Vietnamese lost their lives as well. Over the weekend, families from both sides came together to share in love and loss. For 4 people from Vietnam who lost loved ones in the battle, it was their first time to visit the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C.
I think after a while I realized I didn't want to live with hatred anymore. I became aware as I grew older that my dad's bombs had probably killed a lot of people, and that there was probably a daughter like me on the other side who had lost her dad.
The trip was organized by the nonprofit The Two Sides Project. They work to connect families who lost loved ones on both sides of the conflict.
Still ahead, a major data breach at a popular restaurant nationwide.
And 22 locations right here in the Austin metro area, also part of it. We'll tell you what you need to know if you ate at Chipotle.
Plus, a 10-year-old boy survives after flying off the edge of a water slide. So what's next in the investigation?